Hello, beautiful people. So, I don't know why. I just was thinking about this for quite some time, and that is that beauty comes from within. And I strongly am a firm believer that beauty is something that really truly comes from within. And when I mean from within, I mean your soul. I also mean the things that you eat and the people who you surround yourself with. And I'm going to explain why beauty comes from within. So, we live in a society where we are very hyper aware of how we look like, face guard, body tea, and everything, which is all fun games and everything. It's nice to take care of yourself and to look good and look put together. But I really feel like a lot of us forget the aspect of beauty being coming from within. And I think I say a lot of us because we have things like Botox, BBLs, and things that we can fix on the outside, but these are quick fixes and they don't solve everything. I think when you really want to speak about beauty, it really has to come from within. And I'm going to give you an example. There was this girl, an old classmate, and she was very beautiful. Um, I was sort of friends with her. We were hanging out with this other beautiful girl as well. We were kind of like a trio group. But at some point, she was acting very weird and being really mean, a very mean person. And for some odd reason, I did not see her beauty anymore. Like her beauty was kind of like this thing where it was invisible, even though I thought that she was a very, very beautiful individual. So that just goes to show that your character really can show how beautiful you are as a person. So when you want to focus on beautifying yourself, don't just, stop at the hair dye or makeup or I don't know, skincare. You're going to the gym. Well, I feel like going to the gym is somewhat also working from within. Um, but also look at your heart and how you are as a person, and do you treat other people with kindness and respect? And I know this might sound very cliche, and oh my goodness, I have to treat people with kindness and this and this and third. But if you really think about it, beauty is something that comes from within. And I say this because there are moments where people would tell me, wow, you're beautiful, but I didn't feel that. And that also, again, goes from that whole thing. It's not just beauty, is not just physical, it's something internal, it's something that you feel from within and that you show on the outside. You have to feel the beauty from within before it can reflect on the outside. And this is not to say that you ignore like grooming yourself and taking care of yourself and putting yourself together. But this is to say that beauty is truly something that you have to frame from within, and from inside, you work on the outside. And it's not just treating people with kindness, it's also the diet, your diet. What do you eat? What do you consume? I notice, and I'm sure you can relate to this, when I eat more bad, it starts to show up on my face. Not necessarily body, but me personally, it starts to show on my face by having pimples. I feel puffier and etc. etc. But when I eat healthy, I treat the inside well. I start to glow more. My skin looks healthier and happier. So all these things can impact, how we look like and how we present in the world. But one thing that you really have to keep in mind is that beauty is something that comes from within. You can't, I mean, there's so many examples of women that are considered beautiful. Megan Fox, I don't know if you all know that viral video of hers that she felt super insecure and she feels ugly when in fact she's considered one of the most beautiful women in the world. And the list goes on of beautiful women that don't feel beautiful. Uh, and you're like, well, how can they not feel beautiful? Because beauty is internal. Beauty, for me personally, I think that it is so internal that you reflect it on the outside. Another example that I want to give is, well, I've talked about food, but I also want to really dive into food a bit more because I was very, very, like, I think a year ago or two, slightly very strict with food and not eating as enough as I should because I wanted to prevent pimples or whatever, but that's not really how you combat that. You combat those things by actually eating and nourishing your body properly and drinking enough. And I looked so much more worse, honestly, because it's something internal. And I look back at my older pictures, I'm like, I was younger, but I look so much healthier now. And then this goes to show that I think also beauty is health. When you see a beautiful individual, they look healthy and they, well, I'm not to say that beauty means that you're automatically healthy, but I think more of us should focus on our health and that can transcend, I don't know if I'm saying this word correctly, but it can transcend, I hope you know what I mean, into beauty. So let me just use another word, transform into beauty. So when you take care of your health, it can transform into beauty. So I think a lot of us should focus more on our health and how we can be a healthier version of ourselves, and that will translate into beauty, which is a journey that I have had to go through myself as well, where I was focusing so much on the physical. Well, not so much, but I was focusing more on the physical. But once I shifted that, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take care of my health and really try to eat healthy, and it not only gave me more energy, but it also beautified me as a result. So I say this to say, please focus on your health and on your soul, on being a kind person and being a genuine person, and treating people with kindness and with love is the most beautiful thing that you can do. Obviously, there's more beautiful things in the world, but I think it's one of the most beautiful things that you can do is to be a kind person and treat people with respect and accept people for who they are. Well, not always, but what I mean to say is that we respect people for who they are, and we are kind to others, because I think that truly will translate into beauty. And beauty is beyond the physical, it's more about the inside. As I've said, several beautiful women have come out and said that they don't feel beautiful. um, Keyword feel. It's a feeling that you have, and obviously we have societal beauty standards, but still I really think that beauty is a feeling from inside. I told you, beautiful women, they feel ugly because it's something that's internal. I've been told, oh, you're beautiful, or you're this or that, but at times I didn't feel it from inside. At times, you wake up and you just don't feel beautiful because it's something internal. It's something deeper than just the physical. So try to focus on the inside and work your way to the outside so then you can glow and actually glow from within. I'm trying to think of another example that I can give. I think another example is when I went to Portugal. Um, I live in the Netherlands, and the weather here is very cold and it can be very depressing. So I was like, I'm gonna have a solo trip to Portugal. And when I tell you, I felt so internally happy and it showed. And when I came back from my trip, my best friend was like, you look healthy. And that is so insane because the difference was really there was more sun and the people were really welcoming and friendly. And that impacted my internal, and then it showed on the outside. So when you're trying to think of, doing a glow up and etc., etc., it's all fun games, but also think about your inside and what you really want and what you want to achieve. But being a kind person and a good person is one of the most important pillars to um, beautify yourself. Being a kind hearted person is one of the strongest pillars that you can have to beautify yourself. So think about that first. Let that sink in before you want to make any drastic changes or go to the clinic and change something about yourself. Really look from within before you make those decisions. And I'm not saying like I'm against those decisions that you make because that's personal, but just try to see the within before you work on the outside. that's all I've got for today. Stay beautiful and stay blessed. Bye.